Drake, we've talked a ton about BYU and Utah. There has been clamoring for the Holy War to maybe move dates, but you don't think that's a great idea.
Don't move the Holy War. Don't move Baylor and TCU. Do not move Kansas and Kansas State. And there's a very clear reason why. I saw a tweet. And look, you're going to say I'm a terrorist. And I thought that I was a terrorist too when I woke up this morning and had this thought. So bear with me for a second. The reason the Big 12, I've always said Brett Yormark is an idiot for only one thing. Everything else, he's a genius. And it's not having games on rivalry weekend. Here's the problem. TJ, can you come back on the screen? I'm going to do this to you again. I'm going to explain this to you. I need your help as a prop, okay? If BYU starts 8-1, and that one loss is game 9 to Utah, but finishes the season 11-1 on a 2-game win streak, then 3-game win streak, then they're in the good graces of the College Football Playoff Committee. They won 3 in a row, right? Utah, conversely, 8-1 start, lost their 9th game, but they won 3 to end the year. They're 11-1. Playoff Committee likes that, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Good. It was a very easy question here.
I was just thinking it was so obvious and rhetorical that you were going to keep going.
But what happens? Yeah, usually I do, but I didn't this time. What happens if you're 10-1 and you lose game 11?
Recency bias is a big problem. It's a huge problem. It's why before you even go on, it's why they're talking about putting Notre Dame ahead of Miami.
Yes.
It's like, I know we're Big 12 right now, but like, which I don't like Miami. I mean, yeah, like, but they beat them head to head. But because that game happened in August, we forget about it.
So what have you done for me lately? Like what we should do in an ideal world, Texas Tech's first game of the year is against Utah. Their second game of the year is against BYU. And the rest of their games are against UCF, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Because what we learned with Notre Dame is the more you win late, what have you done for me lately? It's not, well, they lost a game earlier this year. No, it's, they're playing so well right now. So if we play the biggest games in this conference, if we have the top 10 teams square off, then the committee can meet in a room on a Tuesday and say, you know what? They just lost that game. 11-1 can be removed because we just saw them lose. They're not playing their best football. 10-2 team can be removed because they're not playing their best football. Texas loses 2 games early in their schedule, even a bad loss to Florida. They're already back to number 13 in the country. Why? Because all you have to do is rattle 2, 3, 4 wins off in a row. And the second you do that, you're back in the good graces of the College Football Playoff Committee. It really only makes sense. They should play Alabama, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, week 4 every year. Make it the first game, because by the time we get to rivalry weekend, we, in essence, forget about everything else. It's not what you did 8 weeks ago. That loss just doesn't count anymore. Notre Dame against Northern Illinois. That loss just didn't have to count anymore. If they had lost to Northern Illinois on the last game of the year, you might get left out of the college football playoff. It sucks. Now, look, this is me saying that as somebody who loves the sport. It does suck to not have that feeling. I remember waking up as a kid on Saturday after Thanksgiving thinking, wow, today is the day. Today we get my favorite team playing its rival on the road. College game days there. There's that pomp and circumstance, and it's a better experience for the fans. But ultimately, if you want more teams in the college football playoff, if you yourself, like how devastated would BYU fans be or Utah fans be if they're both 10-1 going into that game and the loser, who if they'd lost that game, right, 8 weeks prior, you lose, it doesn't matter. But if you lose in the last weekend of the year, we've designed this whole system where now we have an excuse to keep you out. It really, if you boil it down that way, it's only common sense that you wouldn't have a rivalry week if you're the Big 12, because if you do, you're giving yourself an open opportunity to lose more games that are high profile.
Eliminate half your teams.
Yes.
I mean, and look at the teams. Now, some of them are out of conference, but like, look at the games that do happen. LSU, you mentioned LSU, Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
LSU's up and humming. That's not one. Auburn, Alabama. That's not one that is going to eliminate somebody.
It's a free win. You know?
I mean, look outside of it. Georgia Tech. I know that's not even in conference, but that's a rival that Georgia Tech, it's
one-sided.
Great. Now, Florida State's a little bit of an exception, and South Carolina, Clemson for a long time. The different teams have dominated both sides of that. But you look at the rivalries that are happening. Now, Michigan, Ohio State, I'll give them credit. That is one that continues to be a big deal. But we've also seen that be one that doesn't matter. where both teams can win or lose that game and still go on and go to the playoff. We've seen that multiple times. And again, that it probably has a lot to do with brand bias, but you're so right. Quality losses, which Utah losing to BYU is a quality loss. Whoever loses this game this weekend between Texas Tech and BYU is a quality loss, no matter what the committee says or thinks or does with their rankings the next week. Quality losses don't matter as much. One, if you're not in the SEC or Big Ten somewhat, and they certainly don't matter after like November 15th. There's no such thing as a quality loss the weekend of Thanksgiving because we are too. And I understand recency bias. I tell you a joke right now, you laugh, man, that's the best joke you've ever told. It's probably not. Mm-hmm. It's probably not. You go see a movie, you really like it. Oh, that's the best movie I've ever seen. It's probably not. It's probably not. And then you get 2 months away from it and you say, oh, that movie was good, but not great. That joke was good, but not as good as I thought. You take a drink of something. Oh, this is the best Coke I've ever had. This is the best drink I've ever had. Whatever. We do that. It's natural. I'm not blaming the committee. I mean, I hate the committee, but I'm not. It's very natural to have recency bias. The problem with our sport is the subjective rankings. We've talked about that forever. We don't look at FPI or S&P Plus or Connolly's ratings or this, that, and the other. We look at what feels good. We go off the vibes. We go off of, oh man, this team's playing well right now. And this team's playing. We don't care that they lost to a terrible Florida team. We don't care that they lost to a terrible Northern Illinois team or this team or that team. We feel good. Texas feels good right now. We spent 7 weeks of this college football season talking about how they were dog crap. Mm-hmm. And because they've beaten Kentucky and Vandy and Mississippi State. Those are the last 3 wins. I know Vandy's good. Like I'm not trying to take it, but listen to that. They beat Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Vandy in back-to-back weeks, and we have them ranked in the top 15 right now. You think about that? Like recency bias does mean a lot. Now, I think they lose to Georgia. I think they probably lose to A&M too. So we will get rid of the Texas problem, but the Big 12 doesn't get that same benefit of the doubt.
No, they don't. And really the ACC doesn't either. There's something to be said about a game like South Carolina and Clemson, the amount of times it's put South Carolina out of the national conversation. If you play that game 3 like SMU TCU does every year, by the time we got to the end of the year last year, most people couldn't tell you that SMU beat TCU. At the end of the year this year, most people can't tell you that SMU lost to TCU because it's such this afterthought and foreign thing that happened so long ago. Remember that one time we thought Notre Dame was terrible? We were week 3 where they were the worst team in the world? Yeah. We're now 8 weeks removed from that. And everybody thinks Notre Dame is the bee's knees. And those 2 losses don't count. They just genuinely don't count at all. That's where rivalry weekend could hurt a conference like the Big 12 that needs to, okay, this year, and I get you lose a little bit of the luster for it, way better for BYU that they're playing a UCF during their last game. Way better for a Utah that they would play a West Virginia. Way better for a Texas Tech that they could play an Oklahoma State. That only helps you win more games late in the season to go to the college football playoff. I've gone on your show 2 or 3 times and said that Brett Yormark is a coward for not having a rivalry weekend, but I was in the shower today and something clicked and I was like, shoot, it would ruin the Big 12. We would lose college football playoff teams if the best teams were all squaring off that last weekend. This is probably what's best until we get the same respect that the SEC gets.
It is frustrating, and we talked about this game from the BYU perspective and the Texas Tech perspective. A large part of me is worried for the loser of this game. Now they'll have an opportunity if depending on who wins, who loses, who gets to Arlington. I understand all that. When 2 SEC teams play and they're both in the same situation, there's one combined loss maybe between them. It's not a college football playoff eliminator. Yeah. It's just not. And I worry a little bit. Now, if it's BYU, of course, they're not eliminated. If it's Texas Tech, there's a little bit of concern, I'm sure, because they need to do some work to get back into it. But man, there is some worry with the way that this all shakes out and the way that we are going to penalize. I can tell. I know what the committee is going to do. We've got an undefeated BYU team and they're not getting respect. If they lose this game, they're going to get dropped. They're going to plummet. I just know they will. Now, they'll have an opportunity. They'll have 3 games left. They'll have the Big 12 championship because they'll just have the one loss. They can rewrite the narrative, rewrite the story. But you're right. For a conference like the Big 12, you've got to be creative. And I agree with you. I think they should leave it the way that it is right now. Florida State plays Miami middle of the year. They play Clemson in the middle of the year. Now, those games haven't meant anything for a couple of years. I get that. But you don't see the ACC schedule in there. Listen, I don't like to give the ACC any credit. You very rarely see the ACC schedule in games now, there's a lot of built-in rivalries. We talked about Louisville, Kentucky, South Carolina, Clemson, all those. You very rarely see them give Florida State a tragically hard game with 2 weeks ago, or Miami a tragically. So they do that pretty well. And the Big 12 needs to continue it as well.
Yeah. It's sad because I do love rivalry weekend, but you know what? Yormark, right again. He nailed it.
I also love every single weekend. Week 0, I love it.
Awesome.
Week 16, love Army, it. Navy. I wish they'd put playoff games on that so that we weren't having it past, MLK Day, but I love every weekend. So I will say that I love all of them. They're like my children. Drake, where can people follow you? Where can they find your work?
At Locked On Big 12. I've been locked out of my Twitter account for some reason. The at Drake C. Toll one, there were bad tweets anyway. So maybe I'll recover the Drake C. Toll one. But right now, Locked On Big 12, wherever you find your podcast as well.
Maybe that kid that dressed up as you for Halloween stole your Twitter account. Did you think about that? You reported that to the authorities?
Honestly, the kid can have it. Whatever.
Drake C. Toll brought to you by a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Love it, TJ.